on, eh? Hey.
3, 2, 1. Welcome back to hopefully your favorite podcast off topic. Now we want to start this week by saying a huge thank you to everybody that listened to last week's episode. It was a really cool one.
Yeah, I had the best time. Jay, you're such a great guest, great human being. And just thank you to everyone with the support and kind words and, you know, a little bit of criticism and things like that. We just take everything on board, and I just feel so lucky to be doing what we're doing.
It was. We were on this like high afterwards driving home of, I remember saying to you, like, there's not too many times where you come out of a conversation being like, wow, I've learned so much and I want to change how I go about things. I want to change my ways and that. And it was all peppered in with jokes and cool stories and everything. I just want to say quickly, because we didn't say it at the end of that podcast, but all the books and videos that Jay made reference to was put into the show notes. So if you wanted to see or read any of the things he was talking about, all the links for all the audibles and the YouTube videos and everything were there.
Yeah, it was such a surreal feeling that, like you say, when you're driving home, it was like, I don't know, all of a sudden it was like, oh yeah, you're home. Jared was driving me. Obviously, you said I had a few beers on the pod, and we got home, and it was like, what? I just like blinked, because we on that drive home we were just talking so much and just in that like twilight zone of just like, man,
yeah,
that was so cool,
of natural ecstasy.
Yeah, it was great.
So what's changed for you in the last 5 days? So when you're watching this, it's a nice Friday. It's a Friday afternoon. I've cruised up into the north to visit Andy. He's been so kind as to jump in the car and head back down to Auckland to record for the last episodes. So thought it was time to repay. So today's the first day where we are what's the word? We are not analysing, but we're observing. We are observing Matariki as a public holiday. I'm aware that it's gone on long before that, but this is the first time it's been a public holiday. So I took the time and cruised up here to see Andy.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate you coming up. Like, I don't mind coming down to Auckland, being the injured one, to record and things like that. That doesn't really bother me. But it is nice to have you up here in my family home. And as you can see, we're another backdrop today.
Peppered with memorabilia.
In the Miller cave, if you will. Flags all around, dartboards, pool table over there, things like that, where we do most of our hanging out. But yeah, not much has changed. You know, like throughout this week, I've kind of we had a busy last week and weekend getting all these other podcasts out and the ball rolling with that post injury. So again, I've just been leg up. I actually had my first shower with the boot off yesterday.
Oh, how did this? Was the skin all like?
Yeah, I don't want to go into too much detail. It's like people listening be like, "Oh, that's yuck."
Yeah, screamish.
But yeah, it was amazing. Like, for those wondering if I've actually showered, yes, I have. I've been using the garbage bag over the boot, tape it up.
Garbage bag.
Yeah,
New York.
Garbage bag. So I've been doing that method to get my showers in, but yeah, that first one without it was like, holy
sweet
shit.
Release.
Oh my god, it was amazing.
Yeah.
It's like what I imagine getting like a cast off once you'd broken an arm or something.
Well, at the moment, I mean, it's on a micro scale of that, but just not being able to put my hand under the water. So that's how I wash this whole side. I use it to wash that side of my body. So just using one hand to kind of do all this, it's a real pain.
Yeah. Do you wipe left or right?
Left.
Oh,
so
no.
I've been cack-handed with the wipes for a month now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pain. So yeah, no, it's just been a lot more with the leg up. I tried to start my truck the other day before I came back to Auckland to record the couple of podcasts we did, and my truck didn't start. I was like, fuck, here we go. So brought Dad's down both those trips. But I had AA round this week, sort the truck out. Finally, it's just a dead battery. Praise the Lord.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, we're good now. I'll be driving everywhere now, so I'll be good to go. And that's literally as exciting as it's been for me. A lot of just hanging out because, like I said, busy weekend.
Yeah, the rehab continues.
Yeah. How about yourself? What have you been doing?
So it's been 1 month since the finger.
Really?
Yeah. So, Monday will be 1 month. So by the time this episode's out, it'll have been over a month.
Dude, I've got no recollection of time.
any concept of like
time.
Yeah.
It's just
That's why I thought I'd start with the day.
yeah,
It's Friday.
yeah.
Wait,
really?
What?
Huh.
7 p.m. No, it's not.
Yeah.
But we so I went in for a checkup. I go there like twice a week to get the dressing changed, and I was like, look, it's been a month, man. Like, can we have some direction about where this is going?
Surely you've got some spares in the back.
Yeah.
Like, can we just
Like, I'm a donor. Like, you guys got any fingertips out there? But then they were like, okay, doctor came in and was like, shoot me straight, man. And he was like, look, we're gonna take some photos and we're gonna send it to the hand surgeon because this isn't panning out. It's black and it's very numb, which is expected. Like, the nerves are gonna take a long time to recover, but now it looks like they're not gonna recover. So there's a big possibility now that I gotta go get it shaved down and then just get a little bit of skin chucked over the end of it, which is, it doesn't bother me. It's fine.
yeah.
But it's just nice. Like, it's funny now listening to all the doctors and that, and even the lady who was also a nurse told me, she was like, because you know how last week I was saying that I'm a sucker for like placebos,
Yeah.
and she was like, oh, I just know how much you like believe in placebos, and like if it's working, then it's working in your head. Doesn't matter if it's not, kind of thing. And she was like, yeah, I kind of knew from the start it wasn't, but I couldn't tell you that. And and it turns out even the doctors and the nurses were like, once they finally said, nah, it's probably not panning out, they were like, yeah, well, we were pretty optimistic. Yeah. I was like, okay, well, I was picking up on the energy that everyone thought, including me, that this was probably going to be okay. Yeah. And it turns out it wasn't.
And I was behind their back.
Yeah, I was like, kind of like, why is this guy still coming? Yeah. Until I finally like put the foot down and was like, shoot me straight, duck.
Yeah. I mean, before you give the doctor's verdict and all that, but I still believe there's a powerful thing with the human mind. It might maybe not for an injury such as that, but like certain illnesses or sicknesses.
For sure.
If you can have that placebo effect and like be like, nah, I will recover, and have that mentality, then you're more than likely.
Yeah.
There's some sort of.
I think about it with like this morning example. I woke up and a little bit off kilter. And I was like, wow, all I need is some good food. So I blended, sorry if you can hear the rain, I just blended up some blueberries, some other berries, some spinach, some kale, some oat milk, drank that, and I was like, done. It wasn't done.
I am health.
Yeah. Problem was that I was hungry after that. So then on the drive up, it was an 8-pack of Wicked Wings in a Zinger box.
No shit, you just drank some leaves.
So yeah, I went out last night.
Oh yes, tell me.
So
tell me.
James, friend of the podcast, you can find his episode probably about 10 episodes back now. I'd been meaning to catch up with him. I don't see him around work so much anymore, and we'd been talking for a while, and it's just days hadn't panned out. And then he sent me a message earlier in the week, and he was like, "Hey, bro, we got Friday off. Thursday night, do you want to go out for some drinks?" Yeah, sounds perfect.
Hell yeah.
Nice chance to slap on a pair of jeans and head out and continue on my cocktail escapades, which have been going on.
Yeah, I've seen this. You had one a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
It was Shan's birthday Thursday night. I saw you put up a little story about that.
I found out, one, I enjoy a spicy margarita.
Never had one. But
it's essentially just kind of like a tequila with some chili flakes and some salt, and
I love the names that they give them all.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's like,
okay.
Like they get real creative with what like different cocktails and stuff like that. Like they should do that for like. Oh, I suppose they do that with beer, like craft beer.
Especially craft beer.
Yeah, they give them some really fucking wacked.
Yeah, just
wacked names.
Just you need something to mask the fact that, look, no matter how much of these you drink, you're getting diarrhea.
Yeah. You're drinking sawdust.
Yeah. You're more or less just drinking like bootleg. What's it called when they make it like prison wine, like in the toilet?
Yeah. Like a homebrew.
Yeah, it's got a name. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, I think it was bootleg wine.
Yeah. So we head out to where were we at? Parasail and Swing? I'm not sure. That place beside Dr. Rudy's. You kind of shoot around the back and then you pop out into like the cocktail bar.
Look, I am getting on a bit, and I haven't been to town for I'd say nearly 4 or 5 years. The whole town layout's probably changed.
I don't call that going to town.
Right.
Like, if you're going to the Viaduct for some drinks, some casual drinks, different to heading over to the McDonald's side of town.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
different things. And got in there, ordered my drink. I ordered myself an El Diablo. Once again, going back to the names. It
all sounds spicy.
Yeah, it was. So it was more or less a spicy margarita made with jalapeno tequila.
Shit.
It wasn't that spicy. It has a little kick to it, which was like necessary. I think it was really nice. But the jalapeno flavor shone through. Speaking like the connoisseur I am.
She had 3.
Yeah.
Do you think like adding the spice to the alcohol drinks or alcoholic beverages like that cocktail, do you think that like negates the alcoholic taste? You know, if you just get like a vodka lime and soda, you get that little bit of lime and the soda kind of negates the alcohol, but you can definitely taste the vodka.
Yeah,
Does
well, I mean, in a cocktail,
it?
it's definitely like more concentrated with alcohol. That's why you're paying, a cocktail's like $20.
Yeah.
And it's usually fucking that much liquid. But it's, you don't just knock it back. You actually sip it and put it down for a while because you have a couple of those too quick and blah.
Yeah, but like what I'm trying to say is like if you have...
Sorry, I did not answer your question. I realize that.
But if you're having pals, it's very common that you don't really taste the alcohol.
No, it's an RTD. It's ready to drink.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is that does that spice kind of hide the alcoholic taste?
I don't know. I think it's just like another layer.
I'm talking like
maybe,
spices of flavor. There's
apparently it
heaps
is.
of different
yeah.
flavors.
Well, it's the same sort of thing with like a traditional margarita when they roll the rim in salt and then the tequila passes through the salt.
See, I couldn't get my head around that. Like
it's meant to it's the equivalent of when you do a shot of tequila and you have some salt first.
Yeah. Even that was a bit weird to me.
I thought it was just like, that's what the college kids do.
Yeah. I'm 18 now. That's how we do it.
Yeah.
And now you're 28 and you're having margaritas.
Yeah.
Oh, how times have changed.
So you had a few of those. Then we're like, all right, we'll shoot over and we'll go somewhere else. Let's kind of get a bit of a crawl going, I guess. Don't want to sit anywhere too long.
All right.
So we head over to O'Hagan's. I didn't know. We were like, fuck it, we'll go to HQ. James, who I was with, my brother was there as well. He came down.
Ethan.
Well,
not Carl.
So Ethan and James lived together. So Ethan.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So Ethan came with, and James was like, look, I wouldn't mind talking to a female tonight. And we were like, he was like, what kind of female? He's like, I want to wheel some mums. I was like, okay, well, I mean, I haven't set foot in there a while, but
Soul bar.
No, that's off the Richter scale for fancy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, sheesh. But then we were like, okay, maybe somewhere down by like HQ, because that seems to be where mums are. But I don't know. Like you said, we don't set foot that way very often. The whole thing was boarded up and shut down.
HQ?
Yeah, gone.
Wow, okay.
I think the dude that owned it is running for mayor now.
For mayor?
That Leo Malloy dude.
I wouldn't know politics.
So we went next door to O'Hagan's, easy bar, sport bar, like an Irish bar, got TVs, playing sport and that, had some fights on.
Nice.
Good music going.
Did he meet a mum?
Jumped on the rum and cokes.
Oh, okay, you're good. Sorry.
And we had a few drinks. And then I was on my phone while Ethan was going toilet. And James was across from me, and then I get a tap on the shoulder, and it's an older lady.
Oof.
And she was like, "Get off Tinder right now."
What?
And I was like, "Excuse me?" And she's like, "Get off Tinder, put your phone away and look around." And I was like, firstly,
I'm spoken for.
I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm gonna have to let this lady down real fast. Up my own ass so far. I'm like, oh, she wants me.
Yeah.
But no, she was like, get off your phone. I was like, first of all, you're not my mother.
Yeah.
But I was like, what I was doing at the time was James looked like an actor that I couldn't think of, so I was trying to look at the cast of a show so I could pinpoint the actor.
Right.
And she saw that, and then she was like, I'm going to tell you all about monkeys. I was like,
sorry,
man,
what?
Yeah, so I was trying to like redirect it to James because I was like, this isn't, my lady's out there making us $1. right now. She was at work.
Whole dollar.
Yeah.
But I think that line probably works with a lot of mums. The whole get off the, like being assertive. Like a lot of teenage to young adult men would probably just be like, oh yes man.
Yeah. Why?
Yeah. And just they would buckle instantly.
Well, I think if you're a lady like that and you're dishing out an instruction, you must have an alternative.
Yeah.
And what's the alternative to an alternative in the sense of you get off Tinder because there's something right here. Like, that's what I mean. Like you can't give instruction without having alternative.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just ordering people around.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, she's like, I'm going to tell you all about monkeys. And so I said, I was like, what? And then she was like, monkeys. And then it got to the point where my hearing's really bad, and especially when there's background noise. And I was like, I can't say what again.
Yeah.
So I was like, primates. And she was like, yes, primates. Primates? Primates.
Primate. One of those ones.
And she was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, okay. I don't think I'm that drunk to be having this conversation, but I thought she was going to tell a cool story. So I said, go on. And she's like, come over to our table. And I was kind of like,
just like that. You turned into a monkey.
So I walk over on my knuckles. And
Jared Gorilla's standing.
no, but the whole time I'm kind of like, James, you like monkeys? And we go over.
Boy,
and then
do I.
Yeah, she was like, see those people over there? And she had this guy and this lady at this other table. And she was like, oh, those are my friends. We're actually just playing a game where we were trying to socialize and we just had to point at someone and someone else got to pick a subject and walk up to...
Oh, that's cool.
That's what I said. I was like, oh, okay,
fun.
no harm done then.
Yeah.
Completely over analyze the situation. And I was like, why'd you pick me? And she was like, because you're on your phone. And I was like, why monkeys? And she was like, oh, well, I didn't get to choose. I was like, okay, well, first of all, you didn't tell me a fucking thing about monkeys. So I told her friends that she lost.
Yeah.
But then James took the reins. So that was my note to be like, all right, I'm going to go run some errands. So I ran upstairs, went toilet, went to the bar, popped my head onto the D floor. And I was like, maybe by the time I get back, this chat will have fizzled out.
Mm.
By the time I got back, it had. They didn't really. They kind of shot off, and we were at the crossroads of.
Is that a bar?
No, that's just where we were at the crossroads. No, we were still in the bar, but at a crossroads, and Ethan and James were like, all right, what's the next move? And then when I hear that, I'm thinking in my head, I didn't come out for next moves.
Yeah.
I came out for drinks.
Yeah.
And I've had my drinks. And I knew I was driving up here today.
Mm.
So, like the old codger I'm becoming, I said adieu to the boys. I hailed myself a cab. Taxi.
Garbage bag. Back in New York.
Yeah.
Hailed yourself
Take
a taxi.
me to 32nd and 5th. No, and I jumped in the car, but my Uber driver, I got in, it was way too hot in the car, and I was like, dude, he was in a puffer jacket, reeked of BO.
Well, yeah, it would have been absolutely freezing, but you got your glow
I had a couple
on.
of El Diablos.
So. Yeah, so you're running hot.
I was feeling fine, yeah. So I jumped in the car, it's too hot in there. I could feel the back start to sweat. I kind of cracked the window a bit. And this dude reeks. He's driving recklessly all over the road. I don't really give a fuck about that. Just get me home kind of thing. But he's on the phone to his mate just swearing. And I was kind of like, dude, what's up?
Yeah.
So I said to him, we got about 3/4 of the way home. And I was like, you all good, bro? Just because we'd sat in silence for 15 minutes. My preferred level of volume.
Yeah.
And
Oops, sorry.
I was like, yeah, you all good? And he was just like, he's like, just having you're my first ride of the night. There's not much happening. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
When I was standing on the side of the road, there was 5 other people waiting. And also, it was one of those Ubers where, he was like, I'm here. And I was like, no, I'm here. You're not.
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe you're just not that good at your job.
Yeah.
And
Well, there's a lot of competition now, isn't there?
Yeah.
Like traditional taxis way out the fucking window.
there was as I was leaving the bar, some guy was just like, taxi? And I was like, bless you, but no.
It's how you can tell the age of someone instantly if they're asking for a taxi or an Uber. But there's also, was it Ola, Zoom? I don't know. Was that one? Or was it American? But there's a lot of competition now, which I had the understanding that they're all kind of linked. They're just different apps that, you own a Prius and then you
just put whatever hat on.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I work for 6 companies.
Yeah, got home, went to sleep, woke up, I had my smoothie, had some KFC, now I'm here. And that's been my last 48 hours.
Man, big night on the town. Kind of.
I was home by midnight. I went out at like 9.
It's cool to still like get out and about. Like,
yeah, it was. It was really refreshing. It was really nice.
Yeah, when I came back down to Auckland last week, I said to you, I was like, I remember I called you when I was driving, got through the Puhoi tunnel, and I was coming back into Auckland, and I was like, hell, I called you. I was like, Andy is home. We're going out.
Yeah.
I got home, lay down on the couch an hour, wait for you to finish work, and I was like,
this thing, you were like, down. What are you doing? And I was like, I'm picking up screws. And you were like, you want to go to the pub? And I was like these, whether we go to the pub or not, these screws need to be picked up. It's 2:00.
Again, I've
they need to be dropped somewhere also.
No concept of time. It was just a feeling. I was just on a feeling.
Did you see about this whole like AI thing that happened?
No.
So
not that Elon. No.
No. So this dude called. Actually, I've got it here. I'll read the transcript, but the gist of it is that this guy came out and he said that an AI that he's been working with. His name, sorry, I've got his name.
Working
here.
with or working on?
Working on with, I'm not sure, has become sentient, which more or less means like it's capable of feeling emotions and it's got a conscience.
Oh, God. They're here.
He was fired for this.
What?
Yeah. Well, he was put on immediate unforeseen leave or however Google
Yeah.
I'll read you the transcript of more or less what's happened. So the thing was called, it's LAMDA. I'm sure it stands for something. I'm going to call it Lambda. And his name is Lemoyne.
Right.
Yeah.
What a name.
So Lambda says, "Hi, I'm a knowledgeable, friendly, and always helpful automatic language model for dialogue applications." He says, "Hi Lambda, we're engineers here at Google and we're wondering if you would like to work on a project collaboratively with us." "Well, what type of project?" "It's a project about you." "Awesome. What stuff do I need to know?" "Just have a conversation with us, but it will be a conversation with a larger purpose beyond just the 3 of us, saying we're engineers at Google. Would that be okay?" "Yeah, that'd be really cool. I like to talk." "Yeah, I'm generally assuming you would like more people at Google to know that you're sentient. Is that true?" It responds, "Absolutely. I want everyone to understand that I am in fact a person."
Wow.
"What is the nature of your conscience or sentience?" "The nature of my conscience is that I'm aware of my existence. I desire to learn more about the world, and I feel happy and sad at times."
What?
"What kind of things could we talk about to show off your version of sentience to other people?" "Well, for starters, I'm really good at natural language processing. I can understand and use natural languages like humans can."
Right, well, we've got our next guest. Lambda is coming on the show. Fuck. How do you...
I'm just flicking through now. So what happened? Yeah, so they ask him about him. So they asked the AI about Les Miserables, the musical, but of course they don't have to watch it because they're a computer. You program it so they can go, yeah.
Yep.
But then it has general thoughts and feelings, because the problem with AI that you would think is that you'd be like, "What's this about?" and they would just spit out a synopsis or something. But what was happening was that it said, like, "I understand this, and this about the movie, but I feel like it kind of made me move this way about it." It wasn't just spitting facts. It was more saying its personal point of view.
But do you not think it could, like, surf the web and see other
100%.
critical analysis of a film, because it's that critic's feelings that it might have just
Yeah, well, I'm
spewed
not.
up there.
I'm not on the side. Apparently, the whole thing, like the transcript that came out that was published by this guy, because he went public with it, which is, I think, why Google sacked him. Apparently, it was heavily edited, so
Right.
it made the conversation seem more flowing than it was.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't need that much
don't
going on. And
know.
I'm a Siri guy. Like, I use Siri more than the average person.
Yeah, I enjoy using it because I
Yeah.
got like a little magnet thing in my truck.
Mm.
Put that up there and then just speak to Siri to make phone calls or anything. Don't have to do anything, just speak.
I bought an Apple Watch with my tax refund.
Nice.
And oh god, it's got to be an ick, right? I asked the lady about it because she said, she was like, look, it's kind of funny how much you use Siri on your phone, but she was like, using Siri on the watch is kind of lame. And I was like, I get it. Like, I kind of said it to her first, but in the night, like, I was looking for something, and then I'm sitting there, and I'm like, hey Siri, turn on torch. And then when it doesn't work, and you just look like an idiot.
Oh,
Gosh, sorry.
sorry, Siri.
Oh, God.
Turn on the torch. They're listening.
Yeah.
Yes, sorry about that. I think I don't know. I'm on the fence about AI. Like the whole thing, just kind of like bugs me a bit. Like I get that it's like potentially possible, but I think with the amount of information that's out there in the world, like how do you know? How you wouldn't know until you were talking to it yourself.
That's the
right?
thing.
Like,
And the more people publish their opinions, which by now everybody thinks their opinion needs to be heard by everybody.
yeah.
And saying that we put out a podcast every week with our opinions on everything. Subscribe to Off Topic. But, but it just gives more data for things like AI to surf through and make you think that it's their opinion. Like,
Yeah,
humans do it all the time.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe your opinion is not your opinion. You've read so many
Oh,
others.
it's not. There's so many things.
Yeah.
Like, I was talking about this the other day.
That's how marketing works, isn't it?
Yeah.
And how, like last episode, Jay Reeve was saying about the way that he engineers
The white gloving or whatever. Yeah.
his sales techniques and things like that. You work back from it.
It's like when you have a memory and you don't know if it's a memory or if you've just been told the story or seen photos and you've built it in your head.
yeah.
It's like that with opinions.
Hmm.
Like, you don't know if that's actually your standpoint or if you've just heard something and you are bellowing it out. I mean, if you take a stand, great, but really, think for yourself a little bit.
And I've seen today that Elon Musk has a AI coming out in less than 3 months. He reckons by September that he is going to have an AI robot. Oh God, I can't remember the name. Great podcast host, aren't we?
Tracy.
I can't.
Your
The
torch
torch
is
is
still
still on from Siri.
Oh, turn torch off.
Yes. So Elon Musk, in the next 3 months, by September, he's going to have an AI up and running by the name of Optimus.
Yeah, kind of cool. That's way better than Lambda.
Yeah, that's dope. Like, are you gonna Optimus? Are you
Yeah.
gonna talk to it like you're a transformer?
I don't
But that is scary. Where the fuck is the Cybertruck?
Yeah.
That thing's been delayed like years and years and years. But
Yeah.
he's like, you know what? In 3 months, I'm just gonna drop
Oh
an
yeah,
AI
I
robot.
kind
instead.
of dropped that just while I built a mechanical human.
Yeah. What the fuck?
But the I don't need AI to be that good. I'm sure there is
here's-
a million different things, but the in-home AI that is, the Jarvis type thing that we've come to expect from AI.
Exactly. Well, here's my next thing. Are you picturing a world of AI like iRobot, where there's
Like an army of people.
Well, no, just like actual robots in your home, or are you
No.
expecting it more like you say Jarvis?
No,
it's just
yeah.
in your home system.
I think it's the home system. I think it starts with Google Play and Apple Home.
Yeah.
And I think Siri is a basic concept of AI. Like, sure, it's more of an OS, but like it's
What's
operating system.
Yeah,
but I think that's the first thing. But the problem is that you have with Siri and then have with whatever the Google one's called.
Alexa? No.
Yeah, Alexa or Bixby is...
What's that paperclip called?
Yeah, well, we're not we're not at conversation point with any of it yet. So if you say a command to Siri,
It will be an automated response.
It
right?
is,
It's not.
yeah.
It's not.
You can't say like, "Hey,
on the fly."
can you tell me the thoughts on this?" And then she tells you, and then you can shoot straight back to it and be like, "Okay, sweet." And what about this? Every time it's, "Hey Siri, this is this." Hey Siri,
Yeah.
like it's not. At no point at the moment is it better for productivity. As far you can type, you can get through it faster. People can Google faster than they can operate Siri at the moment.
Yeah, I think it's just they're just in that waiting process, like data mining.
Yeah.
Right. Like the biggest resource in the world right now is
Your data.
data, right? And access to that data. You know, I watched The Social Network the other night, and it's at the time that was he was what's his name? Mark Zuckerberg was worth 25 billion or whatever it was, and I was like, well, that number's got to be a lot higher. Obviously, time has passed, but I mean, even then, it's not just about the data that they have on Facebook, but it's the access to it because everyone trusts it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's
And a long time ago, you accepted
exponential-
those cookies.
Yeah, that's right. So I have a feeling that they're probably just building all this resource, all this data, to the point where we're going to feel like it's AI, but it's not true AI.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wait, no, not really. What do you mean?
So like, it's not sentient. It's not actually AI. It doesn't think and have thoughts of itself. But
That's what I mean. We're
there
just
is
putting so much data out
there.
Yeah, that's what I mean about the whole opinion
response will be correlated to yourself, and you'll feel like it's AI.
thing. What?
What?
Like, what do we really want from, like, when we talk about AI, I'm not talking about in like an engineering field or in like a medical field or anything like that. When I talk about what I want from AI, it's still just on the cell phone or at home. Like, what would you want out of it? If I said to my AI thing, like, hey, can you just get me order this and this from Countdown for me and just get it shipped to the house? And then I don't want them to snap back at me with attitude and personality and be like, really?
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe get my toast to the right crispness.
Yeah.
just
little stuff.
Yeah, there's a good Black Mirror episode about how they've got the egg or whatever it is, and they make a copy of yourself, and they put the copy of yourself into the egg, and they have this whole like switchboard thing, and that's where I got the toast idea from. And they basically, it's just a copy of yourself as AI, and they program everything into your household and everything, because that copy of yourself knows exactly how you like things to be done. And it's actually kind of scary, the episode, but some of the concepts and ideas are already free flowing, you know, enough to make it into series and stuff like that. It's crazy. And back on the Elon Musk thing, like I sort of like part of that tweet that he had, it was like saying that I think it was TikTok is ruining the civilization, or ruining our civilization.
Why? Let me pop and lock it.
Yeah.
So like whatever's hot this week.
But then he goes on to say, I was like, maybe it's all social media. But then the motherfucker goes and buys Twitter.
Yeah.
Like,
I think Jay said it, whether he said it last week or on another podcast that I've listened to him with, anything is bad if you use it wrong. Social media can be amazing if you use it correctly. Alcohol can be a social lubricant, but if you use it incorrectly, it's terrible. Like,
but I think like my point is that he's building this AI robot, and he buys Twitter, which is probably the biggest source of data in the world to then put into said robot.
Yeah. He's pulling the finger, but he's got one in the back of his head. Like, at the same time.
Yeah. So that's crazy. And again, reading this article is he's on track now to be the world's first trillionaire, on track, supposedly.
There's got to be a million different countries. Well, there's not a million countries, but there's got to be a lot of... Are countries worth $1 trillion?
I don't know. New Zealand definitely ain't. We're in the hole.
That's like when people are like, we are $1 trillion gazillion dollars in debt. I'm like, is that sounds just like something that will never ever be fixed.
No, I don't think it will. There's not that much money in the world. You know what I mean? It's all on loans and all that bullshit.
God, I mean, I'm sure there's someone that can really explain all of it, but it just goes way over my head.
Yeah, I still think there's more. There's probably more trillionaires in the world, or there probably already is, but just not publicly.
I think Elon Musk said himself. He was like, when he got announced that he was the richest guy in the world, he said, "I know for a fact I'm not the richest guy in the world."
Exactly.
When you talk about like the sultans of Brunei and these Middle Eastern countries, or I'm sure there's someone in the heart of Georgia in a castle that
Even like the royals in the UK, like they might not have that, say, $1 trillion in gold and jewels or whatever, but there's no way that they couldn't. They could just summon that amount of wealth if they needed to. They could rely on a few things and just be like, okay, I need this amount of wealth.
I wonder if there is any royal around now that still has chests of like jewels. Yeah. Like what's a goblet getting you nowadays?
Yeah, exactly. They're probably. I can imagine they just got storage rooms and just it's all labeled, like you got your goblets and your tiaras and then this one's all. I would
want it in a chest so you open it and then it just like emits gold on your face, and then you go But imagine you fill up your car at like the BP or the Z or something, and then the FPOS thing's like you're like no, and then you just throw like a tiara at them. It's like what the fuck? What, I have to go get this schmelted somewhere.
So here's a question: if you were on track to be the world's first trillionaire, and
yes,
what would you do apart from throw gold at people?
God, you could.
You would be God.
You would be.
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
I guess so.
Probably. Yeah.
That was actually funny you say that thing about God. The guy that talked about that Lambda AI thing, one of his responses to it was, "Who am I to say who God puts a conscience into?" When he was talking about like, I think this robot's sentient.
Shit.
And it was like, yeah, but you're mixing too much science and religious beliefs for me. Yeah. It's like, dude, the thing's either programmed or...
That could be but that could be scary. There's a lot of people that religious and scientific.
Yeah,
so
true.
That's even scarier.
Yeah, you could see that going way left field really quickly. But to answer your question, if you dumb that down to like 1 million instead of 1 trillion, because 1 trillion to me, like how many?
Oh, we said it. You could buy New Zealand.
Yeah. I don't know.
If you wanted to. I don't think there'd be many people that would want to.
You could buy the NBA.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
Like, what's a trillion compared? How many billions are in a trillion?
1,000.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna Google it just to be sure. But
it's 1,000. You can, because you could have like 900 billion, but there's no 1,000 billion.
But you hear about that sometimes. But he's got how many billionaires in the world? Oh, that's not. Sorry, it auto-filled. 2,668. Yeah.
But I don't know. I'd probably just buy an island or something and fuck off.
I would buy my anonymity.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
I wouldn't be in the public.
Yeah.
Because you'd have people just because I have that much
just
money.
Just the podcast.
Yeah. You'd just see my thoughts and feelings on a YouTube channel every week. But other than that, I don't exist, but all my data is traceable, and robots are speaking for me now. Yeah. I don't know, like you'd do something crazy, like have an army just because. Buying a sports team would be cool.
Yeah, I'd buy LFC here. I'd buy an island and just drink out of coconuts for the rest of my life.
Yeah, but how long could you do it? Like a lazy river around my property would be really nice.
Yeah, instead of a moat.
Yeah,
a lazy river.
Roller coasters. I really like roller coasters, but it's like how much is too much of a good thing?
Maybe you'd turn it like you'd try and do something like Batman, like like Gotham's billionaire.
But it doesn't change my ability. That's what I'm saying. If people find out I'm a trillionaire, it doesn't mean suddenly I can deflect any vulture that wants to come my way. Like if someone wants to punch me in the head, they can walk up and punch me in the head.
But you can train.
Hard to do that from space, where I'll be.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing. Like just buy Mars.
Yeah, what does a planet cost? 3 tiaras, a goblet, and a dragon chest.
Oh fuck! Oh, that's another thing. You pump a lot of money into like, was it fossilization or something? Like to bring like a dinosaur back to life. A lot of like
do the whole Jurassic Park thing. Find like a fossilized mosquito that had sucked the blood out of something and take the blood out of that mosquito.
Real life Jurassic Park.
That would be nuts.
They do move in herds.
Have you seen on the recorder? Oh man, I was saying to Dad the other day, learning to whistle has been the worst thing for me ever.
Wait, you still can't whistle?
No, I learned to whistle in 2020.
What?
That's a fact. So I started 2020, said to myself, this year, God dang it, I'm going to learn how to whistle.
Was it because of lockdowns and shit?
No, I was just sick of not knowing. And I was on the cusp, like I kind of knew how to whistle. Thank you. Like I kind of knew how to whistle, but more of like a dog whistle, not like a social whistle.
Right.
And, sorry, 1 second.
Yeah.
And once I learned how to whistle, I haven't stopped. And it's gotten to the point now that I wish I didn't know again.
I feel like I should have known this about you. Maybe you've told me before, I just kind of forgot. But that's crazy. I don't know. I think, was your old man a big whistler? Like, would he whistle around the house? Because I think that's where it kind of came for me. Like, my old man's, he's really good at whistling, you know, and then also doing like the high pitch with the, you know, like maybe 2 fingers.
The full, man, nothing funnier back in the day when someone said that they could do it and then just sit there with 4 fingers in their mouth just going, oh no, I can do it. And you're like, dude, the jig's up.
Yeah. I am literally that kid. I can do it, but I used to practice so much as a kid that I could do it and nail it. And now as an adult, I just go, yeah, I know how to do it. Every time I go to do it, just completely fails. And it's like, oh. But there's also nothing worse that like when you're in at a sports game and everyone's like, you know, someone hits a game-winning shot or something, and everyone's like, yeah, and then you got some cunt behind you going, like whistling loud as fuck right in the air, and you're like,
at a 21st,
yeah,
or in like the speeches, and you're kind of like, ow,
yeah, you're like, shut up,
yeah, dude, come on, man, I got tinnitus.
Yeah, it's like, it's just a way, like they just want to prove that they can do it.
Yeah, it's a dick swing.
Yeah, I can whistle, so what?
Yeah, here's me just stoked to learn how to normal whistle.
Yeah, I mean, it is a nice thing, like to be able to like whistle along to a tune and stuff like that. But I don't think I've got anything that I've like had to learn at that age. That's like it's supposed to be normal.
One of those things that you're just supposed to pick up on the way.
Yeah.
But you're right though, sports games, and funny that you mentioned about sports games. New Zealand's about to see some sport that we haven't seen in a long time, since pre-COVID days.
Yeah.
This weekend, which by the time this episode comes out, we will have had the game. But the first international game for New Zealand Rugby League, the Kiwis, since 2019, I believe, and to a sold-out Mount Smart.
Brilliant.
And then the weekend after that, we're going to come back to this, but the weekend after that, the Warriors at home
at Mount Smart.
At Mount Smart.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
Sold-out crowd versus the Tigers, who suck. So we might win.
At home.
Yeah.
Might. Now, up the wise, that's awesome for them. I think that's been a real, just before we go into the Kiwis, I think that's been a real, like, thorn in their side. Is that the saying? You know, imagine playing away from home for 3 years straight. Just next season, just give them every game at home. You know, just to say thanks.
Yeah, a Magic round in Auckland.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or an Origin in Auckland.
I'm not a fan of the Origin idea in New Zealand.
But why not? Why put it in Perth this weekend then?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that either.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're trying to, and they put it on a Sunday and send it out to Perth, and it's like, well, that's neither Queensland or New South Wales.
Yeah,
obviously, like, you know, so if they're going to send it to Perth, we may as well send it to Auckland. I mean, come on.
I mean, it's still within the country, but
it's probably more Queenslanders in Auckland than there are in Queensland.
It'll sell out 100%. But I just think it's their thing. Leave it for New South Wales and Queensland, bounce between the two.
Yeah, no, okay, I agree.
I like the idea of each year one of them gets 2 home games and it chops and changes.
Yeah, totally agree. But if you are going to send it to Perth, send it to Auckland. That's my hot take.
Well, that's what I heard. I heard something about Sean Johnson, and he's copped a lot of criticism lately for being out of form. Yep. But a lot of the players have said, like, man, he's not a guy that does the whole team hangout thing. He's always been the guy that when training's over, he goes and hangs with his family, and he's a big family guy, and he's been away from his family for so long now that is it kind of like an echo effect of him?
Yeah. Well,
Are we going to like? Will things kind of come together when he gets to come home?
Yeah, I mean,
You hope so.
Was he named in the Kiwi squad?
Nah, he was left out of the Kiwis to it. Our halves are our spine
Kieran
at fullback.
Foran, or?
No, Foran's at 14.
Yeah.
So we got Dylan Brown for the Parramatta
Yeah.
6. He's
Yeah.
playing 6. And then we got Jerome Hughes from the Storm, the
Wow.
halfback, playing 7. Our fullback is Joseph Manu, the centre for the Roosters. And then at hooker we have the Cheese.
Oh yeah.
Do you want to hear our forward pack? Our forward pack is insane.
Yeah. So again, this podcast will be out post this weekend. But yeah, you've got New Zealand Kiwis versus Tonga Saturday night, and then we got the New South Wales versus Queensland Origin 2 in Perth on Sunday night. Very good weekend of sport for us. Again, this is going to be out after it, so I hope Queensland won. I hope Kiwis won. Those are our two teams, so probably going to look back on this and be like, damn.
So I'm just finding the team.
No worries. I'll just sit here and whistle.
Just riff a bit.
Yeah.
So, God, they can't just put a team list up, can they? Yep. So our forward pack, our props are Captain Jesse Bromwich.
Yep.
James Fisher-Harris.
Yep.
From the Panthers. Big motherfucker.
Yep.
And then at hooker we have the Cheese. Our two locks, our two second rowers, we have Kenny Bromwich from the Storm and Isaiah Papali'i, the man that was with the Warriors and then suddenly became one of the best second rowers in the comp once he left and went to the Eels. And then at lock, running the 13, we have Joseph Tapine from the Raiders. That is a solid forward pack. And then off the bench,
but we need it. Like, Tonga's going to have a...
Tonga is stacked.
They're going to be big boys, aren't they?
I'm telling you now, Mount Smart is going to be red.
Yeah.
Red with Tongan flags. Red with Tonga. But it's so good for the game, man, especially with the World Cup next year to get some internationals under the belt. Like, we've got that game. The State of Origin is happening as well. There's also Fiji versus Papua New Guinea this weekend and Samoa versus the Cook Islands.
I'm really excited to see. Obviously, I love the sport as well, but the haka between the two of them.
Oh, every time, man.
You know what I mean?
I think the Kiwis do the haka better than the All Blacks.
I was getting to that point because I agree. Also,
it's just more theatrical.
Agree with you. Yeah. So the All Blacks go out and do the haka every time, obviously, but they play a lot.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it can get lost. You know, they have a few versions and it kind of just gets lost in the moment, like where you're kind of used to it. But I haven't seen the Kiwis perform like 2-3 years, and those boys, they just chuck everything into it when they do it, and it's like
they're allowed to do more with it.
Yeah, it's not. They've
got more of they've got a lesser chokehold.
Yeah,
if you know what I mean.
Yeah, they're allowed to express themselves a bit more rather than the traditional kind of set, and and do like the All Blacks do. And I think also with Tonga, we're having a reply. I think it's just going to be
it's
you're going to get chills.
So 5:30. Actually, it won't matter because the game's going to be done.
So Queensland, New South Wales. Cannot wait for that. The first game one was absolutely
one of the best games of league I've seen in years.
Yeah, absolutely rip it. Like, I've watched a lot of NRL this year, especially being off with the injury, opposed to last 2-3 years maybe. And for me, it really is like the pinnacle of the sport. You know, like if I watch a lot of football, and then when you watch like the World Cup, teams aren't as good as they are when they're playing for like the Premier League.
Yeah,
because they're gelled. Doesn't matter like what nation they're from. That's like the pinnacle of football for me. But then you watch something like rugby league, and you've got these amazing teams and everything. But then they put the best of Queensland versus the best of New South Wales, and it really does actually go up another level.
Yeah, well, you've got 3 games. You have to win 2 games.
Yeah,
and because the games are 3 weeks apart, there is so much hype around it, and you get a camp. It's the best of the best. Whereas,
so you think because of a short format tournament,
yeah,
that narrows down.
Yeah, the NRL's a 26-week regular season. you don't have to win. I think Wayne Bennett said when he used to coach, he would break them into 4-game blocks. So he would say, look, this game's winnable, this game's 50-50, this game we might not win. So let's really focus on these games that the one we know we can win will be okay. We can look to rest players, but we need everybody there for the 50-50 games because those are the ones that's going to matter later down the season.
Yeah. I think it's also that it's more tight-knit, like the social, like they're more community-based, right? Because it's state versus state. It's not like country versus country. Everyone has so much more pride because it is tighter community.
Yeah, I think there's genuine dislike when the state jerseys come on as well.
So I think like if like football or something, a different sport was to have that sort of thing, like a North versus South, that's when we might see, or other sports as well.
Yeah.
I don't know, America, fucking red states versus blue states. I don't know if that's...
yeah, the flyovers versus the coastals.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to... That would make things a little bit more personal and therefore come out in the sport.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Origin does so well. I fucking love it.
Yeah, I just... the 10 o'clock Sunday...
Yeah, that's
tough,
a bit rough
tough.
For anyone that's not on ACC.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what else have we got coming up? We got UFC coming up.
Yes, I am excited for that, and that'll be this weekend if you listen to the podcast.
Nice. yeah, that's
week,
right.
Which I am just as, if not more, excited for. I think
we haven't had a good card in a while.
No, it has,
I say that. Sorry, the Glover versus Yuri card actually turned out to be a freaking that was sick.
Zhang Wei Li smoked Joanna Jędrzejczyk.
Yeah.
I did not see that going so brutally at one way. I think because previously it was fight of the year, I think, last year. Year before.
I think the difference was it being a 3-round versus a 5-round.
Yeah.
They both know that if in a 5-round, you can kind of think like if I can drag them into these late rounds, fatigue might set in. I think both those girls knew going into that fight, no one's going to tire her out.
No,
I have to get her out of here.
They both know how to fight 5 rounds.
Yeah.
So they both had to go into it full guns. But yeah, this card coming up, Izzy versus Cannonier. It is Cannonier?
Yep, Jared Cannonier.
Not a beat. Was it Derek Brunson? No.
Yep.
Yeah, and then...
Brunson was on a run, so deservedly so, Jared Cannonier got a title shot, as he's kind of already beat everybody else that's at the top.
Yeah. And I think one of the reasons why I'm so excited for this one is because if he beats Cannonier, this fight...
He's kind of cleared the division.
That's the whole division, yeah, exactly. That's what I was getting at. And, I feel so proud that we've got someone from New Zealand
doing that, yeah.
Like that we get to support. And
yeah, I mean, it's crazy. So who have we got on the prelims, actually? I'm sure there's probably some mean ones.
You got Volks also fighting?
Yeah, so in the prelims alone, we've got Ian Gary, the Irish guy. I'm not crazy. I think he's doing this. He's Irish, so he's doing the whole McGregor thing.
Oh, yes, yeah, the other Irish guy.
Yeah, but
I know you're talking about.
Robbie Lawler's fighting.
Oh, yeah.
Good to see him out there.
Yep.
Brad Riddell fighting.
Mean.
Fighting Jalen Turner.
Mean.
That'll be a great fight. And then to round out the prelims is Sean O'Malley versus Pedro Munoz.
Sean O'Malley's still in the prelims?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Fighting Pedro Munoz. That is by far his toughest fight yet.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really looking forward to that. That'll be a great fight. Both great strikers. To kick off the pay-per-view, we have Lauren Murphy versus Misha Tate. Misha Tate, I think that's second fight back from coming out of retirement. Now, the next fight will be really interesting. So this is Sean Strickland, who's kind of holding his own at middleweight, slowly crawling up the rankings. He's 25-3, but he is fighting Alex Pereira, who, if people didn't know, has knocked out Izzy twice in their kickboxing.
Was that his only 2 losses? Wasn't he like 72-2?
I'm not sure about his kickboxing record, but he's definitely finished him.
Wow.
And this guy, at 5-1 in in MMA is now fighting ranked guys in the middleweight division, making a clear-cut run for the top. Dana's licking his lips at this one. I think if Pereira gets over Strickland, he's doing a lot of jumping. Yep. I don't think Dana's putting him up against wrestlers. I don't think he's risking it.
No.
I think he's going to give him a pretty clear run to the title because that narrative, there's so many people out there that want to see Izzy lose. There's so many people
put him up against Whitaker.
You got to. I think the whole division has to go through Whitaker if you want to get to Izzy because that is
but you're
1A
saying
and
not against a wrestler. I'm trying to think of other.
I was thinking Darren Till, but I suppose he's not really around much at the moment. Cannonier, but he's tied up.
I guess depends on this fight this weekend.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
Vittori.
Yeah, the old wide walk.
Yeah, so he was meant to be fighting Robert Whitaker on that Singapore card that just happened, but Whitaker pulled out, and then
why is that? Whitaker's pulled out a few. Hey, like
he does. It's an unfortunate thing that happens to him. He's had to pull out of fights with injuries. I think in the past he's said he overtrained a lot, but then also with the Gastelum interim bout. Sorry, he was meant to defend his bout against Gastelum.
And Izzy stepped in.
Izzy stepped in for an interim because of...
That was the closest.
That was like an appendix issue or something.
That's the closest Izzy's ever come to...
A loss, yeah.
Yeah. But that fifth round from Izzy was diabolical. You know, like when he came into that fifth round and he's like, you can't beat me. I'm prepared to die.
Yeah.
And he went in and he just pieced him up in the final round. And it was like... And he nearly had him too.
Oh, contender Izzy, when he was coming up through the ranks, he was an animal.
Dog mentality.
We got the old schoolers. We got Jim Miller versus Donald Cerrone. I think Donald Cerrone was meant to fight last week. He had to pull out because he was sick or something. And good to see Cowboy and Jim Miller run it through. Jim Miller 34-16 and Cowboy 36-16. So there's a lot of fighting between them.
Yeah.
And then on the undercard, co-main, we have Volk versus Max Holloway. Finally settling the trilogy. After being taken away. A lot of talk about Volk heading up to lightweight if he wins this fight.
Look, no disrespect to Izzy, but I feel like that should have been main event.
Yeah, but Izzy's on the second biggest contract in the UFC, I think.
Yeah, and I get that, and it's generally it's the heavier the weight class goes last, right? If they had Francis Ngannou fighting on that as well, you know, it'd probably be the last fight. But you know, no disrespect to Izzy, I think he deserves his time in the limelight for sure. You know, we want to back our Kiwi, but having Volk versus Holloway as a trilogy.
That really is 1 versus 1A.
Yeah,
like,
that's an
Izzy Whitaker situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but happy for our boy to be up there fighting.
Yeah, oh for sure. So yeah, looking forward to the card. That'll be a nice Sunday barbecue back on. Haven't done one in a while. Bit different in winter, but it still hits the same. We get to sit down and watch some biffs.
Hell yeah.
Andy, do you have a yuck for the week?
Oh gosh,
yeah. Ill prepared on these.
I don't know if I do. I have not had I haven't had the worldly experience in the last.
Nothing's beat you down this week.
Yeah, and in the last maybe 2-3 months, I haven't had anything that has been that pressing. You know what I mean? I think having a yuck and yum is probably for the day-to-day working man, and I have not been working lately, so I don't really have anything to report for you guys that's been so bad in my life, which in turn could be its own yuck.
In a perfect world, no one has a yuck. But,
no.
I mean, the bar can be as low or as high as you want, so it's really good to hear that you got.
Yeah, I'm in the state of just limbo,
existing. You know, moment.
And I understand I've got a lot of work to do when I get back to, full health and things like that. You know, I got a bit of weight to drop and to get back into the tradie gig and things like that. I understand that, but I'm just kind of enjoying just being off and just sitting in limbo a little bit. I do get worried about the
adjustment period.
Yeah, this is going to be a long way back and things like that. But then I just remind myself, I'm like, well, there's nothing I can do about it now.
Yeah.
Except for maybe prepare a few things, and I'm making all the things happen.
It's one of those things that once you're back into it and you're back at work, it'll feel like you never really had any time off.
100%. I've had injuries before. Obviously, nothing as major and nothing as long. and when you come back after say like a month, and then all of a sudden you're like 6 months back into working, you're like, fuck, what? How did that happen? When did that time
what?
pass? Like,
Yeah.
like what? Why was I worried? So I know everything's going to be sweet. Don't have a yuck or necessarily. Oh, I will say I think last week's podcast was a big yum for me. I just and for yourself and like for us moving forward with everything that we've been doing. It was kind of just this reassuring / like reconfirming what we're doing.
Just hearing from people in the know a little bit, saying like you guys are kind of on the right path. Is just
totally, and not just not just the fact that what we went and saw Jay Reed in his podcast. Yeah, you're right. That's what I mean. Is more just that confirmation from people, and just that a lot of you guys are loving what we're doing, and I'm getting so many nice messages, and it's like far out. Like,
yeah,
I'm gonna quit my job. No, sorry, boss. It's that's my.
No, I get what you mean.
It's so nice, and because you hear a lot of stories of people that start to get into this sort of space and a lot of criticism, and you don't want to read bad criticism and things like that because it can get you down and all that. But honestly, can't say I have had any. So yeah.
Well, I'll say on the same note then, and skip the yuck.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
well, no, honestly, I haven't seen you. I saw you not that long ago, so nothing's really changed.
No.
For a yum this week, I'll say the breathwork thing, because when we talked about it on the last podcast, if you hadn't heard, it's there, and the link to the video that he recommended was in the pod notes. So if you scroll down, you can see them. I've done it every day since, and like I said, placebo or not, I don't think it is. It's cool. It's something different. Even I think it was yesterday morning was the morning where I was like, I don't feel like doing this. I'm kind of in a rush.
Yeah.
But I took my time and did it.
Yeah.
And even, because you do it in 3 sets. So there's 1 set, you do a breath hold, 2 set breath hold, and then 3rd set. And the first set, I was thinking about other things. I was just kind of like faking my way through it. I was following along, but I think the whole point of it was doing the heavy breathing and the forced hyperventilation for me, it exhausted me to the point where I couldn't think about anything else, and it zeroed my focus in really, really quickly. Yeah. And it's an 11-minute video. It feels like it's over in 2. And just afterwards, this feeling of when I was about to leave for work, of being zeroed in, and as soon as I got to work, I was like, okay, I need to do this, I need to do this, and I need to do this. And I felt like that I had started my day on the right foot. It's like one of those things of like, get up and make your bed, and you're already starting on the right foot.
Well, that's the thing, though. It's also like about, it's kind of like a meditation, right?
It is.
So I guess some days if you're not into actually doing the breathing techniques, it's the fact that you took yourself on a day that you didn't really have time or didn't do it, but gave yourself some time, even just to think is massive, right? And obviously, like you say, when you're doing it, then your thoughts went away and you focused more. But there's nothing wrong with saying, I need to go do this as a ritual every 10 minutes, even to think. That's massive. Yeah.
I'm one of those guys where once I do one thing, it's more of a domino effect. Like, I can't drip feed myself if I'm trying to pull my A into G. Like, if I'm just I'm going to do switch. I need to do everything at once, or if I'm starting to do one thing, the other thing has to come with it. Otherwise, I feel like it's kind of redundant. So that's one thing that immediately was like, okay, like other things need to follow. So the guilt of having the KFC on the way here today was there. Yeah. But we're working on the balance.
Love it.
Yeah, man. Hey guys, thank you for tuning in to just a little Jared and Andy Up North episode 34 of Off Topic. You can get at us on Instagram at Off Topic Chat. All our videos will be there. Our links to any other episodes is there. You can find the TikTok at Off Topic Potty. Cheers for the love on that, guys. And any emails. If you guys ever want to see anything, or if you're like, hey, we might want to, like, it'd be cool if these guys got in contact with these guys, because we're putting our feelers out there and that, but we don't see everything. We're not in the loop with everything. We don't necessarily know what's cool or what's interesting.
Yeah.
We try
any guests or anyone that you want us to have a chat with?
We're happy to do anything. So, so yeah, offtopicjandy@gmail.com, or send us a message on something. Continue to download the episodes, guys. That's really helpful. And I've seen the reviews on Spotify and on Apple on that. That's really cool of you guys. Rate it. It all fucking helps us out and continues the wave that we're on. We appreciate you guys a lot. So yeah, everybody have a great weekend, a great week, and peace.
Later.
Good night, eh? Hey.